Welcome to the XFO Intelligence Podcast. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into a fascinating exploration of how organizations can thrive at the intersection of pattern and chaos, what we're calling the living edge. The insights I'm sharing with you today were generated using our proprietary deep augmented thinking method, a sophisticated approach that combines human intuition with advanced analytical frameworks to uncover patterns that traditional thinking might miss. Let's start with a counterintuitive truth. The most valuable opportunities in business don't emerge from predictable patterns. Instead, they surface precisely when familiar rhythms break down and chaos begins to stir. Think about the most transformative moments in business history. Digital platforms rising during economic downturns, entirely new markets emerging from regulatory disruptions, category-defining companies born from technological inflection points. What made these breakthroughs possible wasn't perfect prediction, but the ability to sense underlying patterns within apparent chaos and move with fluid precision when others froze. Here's what our deep augmented thinking analysis revealed. Behind every moment of disruption lies a hidden architecture of recurring rhythms. Markets don't move randomly. They pulse with cycles of expansion and contraction, innovation and consolidation, connection and fragmentation. These cycles operate simultaneously at multiple scales. But here's the challenge. Human cognition evolved to detect simple, linear patterns, not the complex, multi-layered rhythms of modern systems. Our brains seek certainty where none exists. This is why traditional strategic planning often fails during genuine disruption. The breakthrough isn't about better prediction. It's about developing sensing capabilities that work with human nature, not against it. The most successful organizations create living networks that can detect weak signals long before they become obvious trends. Now let's talk about something crucial. Markets are not abstract mathematical constructs. They're living ecosystems powered by human psychology. Every decision carries the imprint of cognitive biases, emotional responses, and social influences operating beneath conscious awareness. During stability, these psychological currents flow predictably. But when chaos enters the system, these patterns transform dramatically. Fear amplifies herd behavior. Loss aversion paralyzes decision-making, and cognitive shortcuts become dangerous liabilities. The organizations that navigate this successfully understand that human behavior isn't irrational, it's differently rational. The key isn't eliminating these responses, but designing systems that account for and even leverage them. Here's a paradigm shift. Chaos isn't the enemy, it's the catalyst. The distinction isn't between chaos and order, but between destructive chaos and generative chaos. Generative chaos creates just enough disruption to break rigid patterns while preserving core capabilities. What determines whether chaos becomes destructive or generative? Three interconnected factors: preparation, connection, and rhythm. Preparation means building adaptive capacity before it's needed. Connection refers to maintaining relationships that are strong enough for stability, yet flexible enough for reconfiguration. And rhythm, perhaps most counterintuitively, involves deliberate pulsing patterns rather than constant acceleration. From these insights emerges what we call living strategy, operating through 5 interconnected principles. First, sense before you decide. Build distributed sensing networks that detect weak signals at the edges of your system. The goal isn't perfect prediction, but early awareness of pattern shifts. Second, flow, don't force. When patterns break down, increase flow rather than tightening control. Design systems that move resources toward emerging opportunities without bureaucratic delay. Third, fragment to integrate. During extreme disruption, allow temporary fragmentation into semi-autonomous units. Each explores different responses while maintaining enough connection to share learnings. Fourth, harvest, don't manage. Approach chaos not as something to control, but as something to channel and transform into growth. Every breakdown contains seeds of breakthrough. Fifth, pulse, don't push. Sustainable advantage comes from rhythmic pulsing, periods of intense exploration alternating with focused exploitation, expansion giving way to consolidation. The most profound insight: advantage comes from operating at the boundary between stability and chaos, what we're calling the edge of chaos. This requires holding seemingly contradictory states simultaneously: certainty and uncertainty, focus and openness, stability and change. Organizations that master this edge develop adaptive tension. It's not comfortable, but it's precisely this tension that enables detecting opportunities before others see them and responding more quickly when action is needed. So here's my challenge to you, our XFO Intelligence community. What winning strategies have you identified in this complex world? How are you sensing patterns within the chaos of your industry? Are you building the adaptive capacity to thrive at the living edge? The future belongs to those not seeking perfect stability, but to those who've learned to find the pattern within the storm. These insights from our deep augmented thinking method reveal that the greatest stability comes not from resisting change, but from embracing it as the very source of renewal. If these insights spark new thinking for you, I'd love to hear about it. Please like this episode, share it with colleagues who are navigating their own complex challenges, and subscribe to the XFO Intelligence podcast for more cutting-edge analysis using our deep augmented thinking methodology. Remember, in complex systems, chaos isn't the enemy of opportunity, it's its most powerful catalyst. Until next time, keep sensing those patterns, keep dancing with uncertainty, and keep thriving at the living edge.